Hello trainers, and welcome back to the YouTube channel and to another episode of Draft Master. If this is your first time meeting me, once again I'm Drake-Usan. I'm a caster and an analyst for Pokémon UNITE, and with Season 18 coming to a close rather quickly, Season 19 is bringing about something new. Draft is now available to all Masters players in Season 19, and for this video, we're going to go over 5 things you need to know before your first game of Draft. Alright, let's go ahead and begin with the first thing you need to know before your first game of Draft. And this is really for your first game of Draft ever. And for many of you, Season 19, this might be your first time. And so in Draft mode, different than blind pick mode, there are no mirror picks in Draft mode. What does that mean? That means if you select a character, that means the enemy team is unable to select that character, and that goes vice versa as well. If the enemy team, for example, picks a Decidueye, you will not be able to pick a Decidueye yourself or anyone else on your team. So you will never see 2 of the same Pokemon on either side. Alright, and number 2, with the second thing that you need to know before your first game of Draft is more of a conceptual idea. Not necessarily anything to do with the draft order, but for number 2, I think you should have a very general understanding of the current metagame in Series 19. With every new series and every new season, there are always characters that are just a little bit better than others. In Series 18, Buzzwole was a very strong character and was most frequently banned, especially in North America and European regions. It might be a little bit different than other regions, but at least here in North America, Buzzwole was a character that was banned rather frequently because it was so strong in the metagame. And this might not be the same for Season 19, but having a general understanding of what's good and what's generally not so good in the metagame will help you, especially in the banning processes. Sometimes you don't want to play against those characters that are just better than others. Alright, and with number 3, we're really briefly going to go over the first 2 phases of the draft process, which is, again, the ban phase and the character selection phase. So, before we get started, I do want to really briefly go over some of the information that you're seeing here right when you enter a draft mode, right? So you can see here that this orange team is actually going to be the first team that first bans the character and selects their character first. So always make sure you take a look at this order, because it's going to decide on which team is going first and then which team selects second, and also has the last pick option as well. So we're just going to head on into this draft game and walk through the first 2 phases. So this team is going to go ahead and select Buzzwole first, and it's going to snake on over to our team, the purple team. It's also the second pick team. We're going to select Mewtwo Y. We're going to move on over to the other team, select Miraidon, and then the other team, or I guess our team, is going to select this Meowscarada. And then just remember, again, we were the team that banned second, so it's also going to mean we're going to be selecting second as well. So Alpha Qna over here banned Buzzwole first, and they're going to be the team that selects their character first. Alright, at this point in the video, I'm going to pull up the exact order that these teams are selecting their Pokemon. Again, this is the orientation that the orange team, the opposing team, is selecting their first character first, right? So Zaldre picks this Blastoise. That's going to snake on over to my team, where Security and Lana Del Perp will select their first 2 characters, snake on over to the other side. The other team is going to select their their second and third pick. It's going to snake over back to our side, where we pick our 3rd and 4th pick, snake over back to the other side to select their 4th and 5th pick, and then eventually a very important selection, which is going to be this last pick option at the very end. So again, it's very important to understand the order in which your team is selecting their characters, which team is banning first, which team is selecting first, and which team is picking last, because those are all very pivotal positions in the draft process. Alright, and with number 4, the 4th thing you need to know before your first draft game, and even though we just went through what the exact draft order is in which you select your character, you can actually break that draft order with your teammate if you communicate that information. We're going to go ahead and pause the video right here, and you can notice that I am the first pick player on the left side here, but Security is actually requesting to switch to have their character be selected in place of mine. So what you need to do here is you press X, and you'll see that the character selection will move off of the selections here and move on over to your side. And you can see that I press X, I scroll down over to security's name, where you'll see this indicator here. I confirm with security that we want to switch positions, and you can see that I no longer am I in that first pick position. I am now in his third pick position. And again, you have to communicate with your team if you want to switch positions like this, but you can if you decide to do so. Just to add to point number 4 about switching, not only can you switch positions with other trainers on your team, but you can also switch characters with them as well once your team has been finalized. So once you head on over to the preparation phase, you can switch characters with them by pressing X. It'll bring your gold icon over your character icons over to the team names or the character names, the trainer names, and you can switch with them with any of the players that have this icon that we've seen before. But you can see here that I'm actually trying to switch with Lana Del Perp, and they have sent me the notification to switch characters. They want to play the character Clefable, and I want to play the character Decidueye. So this is what happens when someone sends you that notification. You give them the okay. The characters take a brief moment to switch, and you can see here now that I have Decidueye and Lana Del Perp as Clefable. And number 5, the final thing you need to know before your first draft game is, unfortunately, draft mode is still very buggy. What does that mean? Very commonly, you or even other teammates or other players in the game are frequently going to be crashing out of the draft mode. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to play that game. It means that you might not be able to select the character that you want. Fix this, please. Fuck. Come on. Draft is going to be available for everybody. Is everybody about to freaking crash? Like literally everyone in Masters? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's every single time I play draft. It's like crash, crash, crash. Like, it's absurd, honestly. All right, and so it's very important to, before you even start playing the game, favorite a character that you know you can be very consistent with. This might be your favorite character, or this might be a character that you think is just very consistent in the metagame. For example, my best character is Decidueye, but unfortunately, draft mode, Decidueye is countered very easily. And so if I am first picking, not necessarily picking, but because it's favorited, if I pick Decidueye first, because I'm the first pick player, that means the other team has so many opportunities to counter Decidueye. So, for example, my favorite character, favorited character, is Pikachu. It is a very consistent character, although it is countered by a lot of speedsters and characters with a lot of dive. Pikachu has a lot of self-peeling options, such as Volt Tackle and Electro Ball. And so, even though you might not be favoriting your best character, favoriting a consistent character might be even better. So that might be a consistent character in the metagame, or a consistent character that you can play to the very best of your ability. In Season 19, of course, that might change, but if history does repeat itself, Pokemon Unite has always been a game of very frequent crashes. So it might be best to favorite a character that you can not only be consistent with, but is also fairly consistent in the metagame, regardless of what the other team selects. And this is the part of the video where I tell you to follow me on all the things. Follow me on Twitch to know when I'm live streaming next. I would love to meet you. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to know when the next video of Draft Master is. And with that, that is going to bring us to the end of this video of Draft Master. Once again, trainers, have a wonderful Series 19. This new rule set is going to be very exciting for all of us. Draft available for more people is always a good thing. Good luck out there, and I will see you on the battlefield, trainers.